Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's day 2 of our 5-day challenge. Unfortunately, I can't see you if you're on. I don't know why I can't on my computer. I can on my phone. I just can't do it on here. But I'll just kind of wait for a minute to see because sometimes, it's 3 o'clock straight up where I am, and sometimes it takes a minute to hook up, come in, and say, I'm here. I have a lot of people on this challenge, and I love that you're here. I love that you're coming back live. I think it's hard to come on live actually, unless you really mark your calendar and say, okay, this is the day I'm doing it. I don't go out and give any instructions about it or say we're 3 minutes out or 5 minutes out. So you're a very accountable person if you're on here live and in person. And I read your comments and things afterwards, and I love, love, love that you're emailing me because that's how you get a prize. I'll remind you at the end again. So welcome back to Discover Your Core, monetize that core, and go make your big difference in the world. I'm Patricia Noldrain. You all know that by now, and I am loving this challenge. Why? Because it's simple, it's short, and it gets results if you do it. You do have to do it. It's not like buying a book. You buy the book and you see the cover and it's going to change your life, and you don't open the book, it doesn't change your life. I think that's really funny. So the reason I find this to be so simple is because I'm only teaching two things, the what and the how. What do you know that I don't know that I would pay you to know? And what problem are you solving for me with that knowledge? That's the what. And the how is how are you going to tell me about your program or your solution? And that's the formula that we're going over today, actually. You should have that by now. We're doing the grassroots approach. And somebody said to me the other day, what's a grassroots? Yes, they were in their 20s. The grassroots approach is where you literally pick up the phone and you call somebody. The grassroots is where you actually talk to somebody. Can you imagine? I just saw it. You see it every day. Kids right next to each other, texting the person next to them. It's crazy. So you can't hide in a grassroots approach. You can't hide behind your computer or your text or your house. You're out there, just like a neighborhood. You're out there and you're seeing your neighbors and you're saying hi to them and you're actually getting together. That's a grassroots approach. Now, here's what I'm going to be sharing today and what I really love. You got the formula. If you signed up for the challenge, you should have had an email that has the formula. If you did not get that, please email me, patricia@patriciadrain.com, DRAIN. I'll get that to you. But I think Jan got it out to all of you that have signed up for this. So I'm going to put you through a real life call that I did probably 2 weeks ago with a gentleman, and I want to walk through the formula so that you have no excuses on what it is that, what am I supposed to do, Patricia? I don't know what to do. Now you know, because I'm going to walk you through it. Then you're going to go practice, because remember, you are going out and you're asking people with our grassroots if you can practice with them. You were supposed to ask 3. Did you do that? You can email me and let me know if you did. So I took notes as I was talking to this gentleman. I'm going to call him Ted, just because I don't want to call him by his real name. I use a timer, and this is the timer I use. It's Pampered Chef. I probably have 12 of them. They're all over everywhere in almost every room, because it also is my timer so that if I say, okay, I'm going to file, you know how much I hate to file. I don't file. I give it to my interns, but I'm just using that as an example. I could file, though, for 10 minutes. I could do it. But when 10 minutes is up, I'm done. I'm on to the next thing. That's what this is used for. Well, it's also used in this formula. I say to Ted, I'm going to start the timer, and we're going to do 15 minutes together. It doesn't sound like a long time, but 15 minutes is a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now, Ted. And of course, for us today and for this use, it's not going to be probably a full 15 minutes. So I have him here. Can you hear that? And I make sure that he says he hears it. Okay, let's get started. Now, what I'm doing, and I'm going to be talking to you as I'm going through here, these are trigger words that I stick by, and trust me, I take notes. I want you to take notes, and I want you to make this your thing. but I don't want you going away from this formula. You'll see what I'm talking about. There are like 20 times I want to get away from this formula as I'm going through it. So here's the first trigger word. Ted, imagine really that your company is done, it's up, it's running, all the money is flowing in that you need and that you want and that you're concerned about, but you're also happy because you're getting results for people. What does your day look like? What does your business look like, Ted? And Ted says, well, now I don't know him at all when I'm talking to him, by the way. He said, I know I'd be telling stories because I'm really good at telling stories. I'm really good at like speaking about that. I'm really comfortable, like when you walk in a room and you don't know anybody, I just love to walk over to a group of people and start talking. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Not everybody is like Ted. He said, and then I really like to write also. Well, the whole time he's telling me this, I'm thinking, well, Ted, you're about as perfect for me as I know of anybody. He said, and then the other thing other than writing, I really like to teach, but I kind of don't know what I could teach. I know all kinds of stuff. I don't even know where I would start. I go right to the next trigger word. Ted, tell me what it's like in real life now. What is your life like every day? And he said, oh, I go to a job every day from 8 to 5. I get paid $40,000 a year for that job. My job is working at a dinner club, and it's really trying to recruit people to come to the dinner club. But it's really hard because people, I notice the average age is around 80. And so it's hard to get like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds to want to have dinner together at this beautiful mansion. Right, I agree with him. He said, so here's the problem, and this is why I'm on with you. I probably will lose that job in the next couple of months. Oh, Ted. I want to veer off. I want to say something else to him, but I stay right with the trigger words. I want to recognize people when they're on the call. I found out that you should really do that. And I said, you know what, Ted, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming on this call, for sharing and just being as honest as you possibly can about your situation right now, because I think I can help you. I go down to the next word, gap, and I say, you know what, there is a gap, Ted. It's not a big gap for you, but there is one. It's just going to take courage to really go and close that gap. Notice I'm staying right on here because I want to say so many other things, and I've been with you and you've done the same thing to me. I go right down to Ted. What do you think is stopping you? Really from doing this wonderful, magical telling stories and being comfortable with people and writing possibly a book. What's stopping you? Ted said, I know what it is. I've been there before. I was an entrepreneur for 7 years. I did make my own money, and I made a lot of it, a lot more than 40,000. I think I made like maybe 120 to 140 a year. But he said it was hard, and it wasn't easy money. I didn't just pick up a paycheck. No, because that's an entrepreneur. They don't do that. And so he said that's really what's stopping me is I'm kind of a coward, I guess. No, you're not a coward. But I don't go there. I say, well, what do you think needs to happen so that you can finally get out of this? And maybe rut that you're in or pattern. And he said, well, I think what's going to happen, to be honest, I'm going to be very honest with you on what needs to happen. I think I'm probably going to have to get fired, to be honest, because I'm probably going to hang in there unless somebody tells me to get out of there. I said, well, that was being very honest. So now we go down to the next word possibilities. Ted, let's you and I on this call, since we have very limited time, let's go over really some possibilities. Now on this, people, I like to get at least 3, and I always start with Ted. I always start with the person. So Ted, let's start planning your plan B so that you're kind of a little more prepared than you are today. Tell me what you would do if you could think of what you could do first. And this is what he said. Well, I guess I'd have to figure out what I want to teach. What do I really enjoy teaching? And I said to him, well, that gives me a really good point here, Ted. What did you do before now notice I didn't do it in the script, but I did it now. As the entrepreneur, what did you do? And he said, I wrote press releases for people because that's really easy for me. And I went out in the media and branded people so they could stand out and be different. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, here, my turn now. Oh, Ted, could you do that for you? Do you think you could be your own press release person and your own PR person? And this is what Ted said. He said, I never thought about it like that. And I said, well, you said you love to tell stories. Do you think you'd love to help me tell my story? Because I don't know how. What do you mean you don't know how? Of course, everybody knows how. No, they don't, Ted. Right. So what do you think another possibility could be? I go back to him now. This isn't all about me. This is about strategizing. Remember I told you about the QLS syndrome? Question, listen, and then strategize with the person? That's what I'm doing. So he said, well, I could, now that you say that, I could focus on me first. Okay, Ted, that sounds great. What would you do? He said, well, I'm really good at social media. So I could go out and I could start doing Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm like, and I tell those stories because you know how Instagram now, that's all they want are stories. Facebook, it pops up with stories. People don't know how to do that yet. Wow, they don't. I do it all the time for the club I'm working for. Now it's my turn. And I say, Ted, I think you really need a niche. And I think the niche could be something like telling stories on social media. You could teach them. He said, well, that would be really easy. I can't take money for that. Yes, you can. Yes, you really can. And really, people, this is what I'm saying happens in these magical formulas, is that this person sees something from a different angle or a different light through your eyes, maybe. And it doesn't mean you have to have the answers for them. It just means that you dredge up the things that are coming out of Ted. And so now I come back down. I have 4 possibilities for him. And I say, you know what, Ted? We began the process of closing the gap. That's what you and I are doing right now. But I want to recap now what it is that we really said to each other. And all I'm doing now is going all the way through and saying, I know you feel stressed. I know it makes you nervous about making money, but I see that you made more money doing an entrepreneurial job than you are at this job at 40,000. I mean, 140 versus 40. I don't know. That's a big gap. So Ted, what I'm going to suggest is just listen to yourself. Figuring out what to teach. Maybe you want to teach people how to do press releases. Maybe you want to teach them how to do stories on media. Maybe you want to teach them how to brand. Maybe it's all those things combined. And he said, well, that sounds really easy. So, okay, I like this recap. Now, pretend like the timer is going off. If it's not, it's close to going off. And I say, well, Ted, that we've recapped, we've done everything, our 15 minutes are up, or I might say, we still have 3 minutes, to be honest, and I might talk to him a little more about possibilities. But this is where I now say, Ted, is it all right if I present you with an invitation? Now, you can say an offer, you can say whatever you want, but I say an invitation. There's not been a person that's been on this call, this intimate call with me, that has said, absolutely not. I do not want to hear another word from you. Not one. So don't worry about that. And then you have to have, remember, the what and the how. You have to have, what are you selling me? What solution are you helping me with? And here's the way I do that. Well, what I'd like to introduce you to, Ted, is really, because quite honestly, I don't mean to interrupt myself, but Ted could not be more perfect for me. He's absolutely the most perfect person for my program. And I said, I'd like to introduce you to my fabulous full year, discover your core, monetize that core, and go make your big difference in the world program. Full year, I'm actually going to work with you one-on-one through that year. Oh, wow. So here's what we do, Ted. We're going to focus on wrapping a business model around your gifts, your talents, the things that you can help people do. And then what we're going to do is really show you how to speak about that in a very congruent way so that you can grow your business through the stories that you tell. We're also going to, because you like writing so much, we really like to have people write a book. There's no reason today why everybody doesn't have a book done. If you can't do a book, maybe you're going to be in a chapter in one of our books, or you're going to write articles. We have ongoing training the whole year. because we need to be trained. We need to have the steps, the processes, the formulas, and I believe in tangible techniques. You see what we're doing right here on this challenge. I'm literally giving you a six-figure business. You just have to believe it. And I have shared this many times with many people, and they don't believe me, so they don't do it. We have a community of like-minded people. That's one thing that I really noticed that I wanted to change in my life. I wanted a community. I want live events where the community comes together so I can see them. I can get together with them. And then Ted will also have an accountability coach. People want that. They want somebody that's keeping them accountable as they go along. Very quick, very easy, but keep me on track. And I love that part of it. So this is what Ted said to me. I'm going to read because I took it down. Ted said, Patricia, this is exactly what I need. It's like getting a degree in business. It's a fair price for what I get, for sure. And I love that it's so structured, and then I'm going to have this structured help. And then he said, let me talk to my wife. She's still the one that's completely in control. And I said, okay. And I really mean okay, because without the wife, I don't have anything that I can do and help him with anyway. And so he got back to me. He went to his wife. He said, well, Patricia, I'm going to come with you, I promise. I just can't do it right now. I'm going to get out of this job, find another job where I can have the money coming in the job, and then I can start working on my plan B. I don't blame him. I don't blame his wife. It's not the right timing all the time for everybody, but right now, to be honest, if he worked on his plan B, even for the 2 months he thinks he has left in the job, he'd be set for free. I mean, not for free, for life is what I mean. But remember now, I'm telling you a formula that did not work with Ted. I did not sign him up. I did not enroll him in the program. And I'm using that as an example to prove to you this is a numbers game that we're in. You have to talk to a lot of people. Why did I tell you to hook up with 3 people? Because I wanted you to practice. I wanted you to see what it's like. My quotient, by the way, for this is you have to do this formula with 3 people every week. It's not easy. You've got to have quite a pipeline going to do that. But if you do 3 people every single week with an offer that you know can help them with their problem, you're going to have a 6-figure business, period. This is how easy it is, the what and the how, of what I'm doing with you right now. So here's your homework. I want you to do this. Practice, practice, practice. Can you get with your 3 people from now until tomorrow at 3 p.m. Mountain Time and practice and go through the formula and make them an offer and see what they give you as feedback? See if they say, I'd do that in a minute. Are you kidding? That sounds great. Well, you don't even know. They could be that person. So number 1, I want you to do at least 1 before tomorrow and send me by email the summary of that. I'll show you what I mean by a summary in just a minute with Ted, because you just went through the whole Ted thing with me, so I'll show you what I mean. And then I want to read. I probably will read 3 of them on the air tomorrow so that you can hear how it worked for everybody else, and you can kind of judge it against yours and how yours turned out, or you really flubbed, or you really thought, how can I follow this script? Well, you see how easy it is to follow the script. I want it to be yours, your personality, but follow what works. This has been proven over and over again with hundreds of people that it works. Now, you have to be talking to the right person. Ted was the right person and he didn't buy. But imagine if I'm talking to a janitor. Well, he probably isn't going to buy unless he was ready to put a business model around his not having to go into offices and clean anymore. He wants to put a janitorial business in a box. Then I'm the person he needs to talk to. So here's the other thing that I am going to tell you before I give you the summary of Ted of what I would say about him. You have to do it. You do have to pick up the phone, get on the phone with the person and do it. Remember, this is the personal touch. This is the customized touch. This isn't, don't go download this. I'll text you tomorrow. This is the personal thing that we're doing. All right, here's what I would do if I were summarizing Ted. I would say Ted was, and this would be something I would read tomorrow, Ted is the perfect person for my program. But Ted is terrified right now to make a change. And I understand that he needs a JOB so that he feels there's going to be money coming in the whole time he's working on whatever it is he wants to work on. Then the other summary I would say is Ted really needs a niche. He needs to get very, very clear that the niche could make him rich. I know that rhymes and that's kind of silly, but it's the truth. And then the last thing I would say about him is I really don't think Ted's going to be able to do this alone. I do think he needs, if not my group, another place, another program, another product where he has some hand holding going on because he's working in a JOB. So it's hard to do that. Now, the simple process is in your hands. You need to get it done. Go through the formula with somebody by the time we meet back tomorrow. Send me your summary by email, patricia@patriciadrain.com. And remember, I'm giving prizes away all the time. But you have to interact. You have to email me. Not the Facebook as much as the emailing, which I thought was so sweet yesterday. I had somebody say, I keep posting and I'm trying to get on Facebook, but for some reason it's not letting me because she wants to win prizes. Now, I heard from maybe 12 people saying that. Remember, I'm trying something a little bit differently this time. I'm doing the email kind of thing, going back and forth, keeping the group in the email. Jan is sending things out on her end rather than me putting it on Facebook. Just testing the water, seeing how it works, and I'll be sharing that with you all later. So I like to do it with at least under 20 minutes when I'm teaching like this, and it's 21 minutes. So until we meet tomorrow on day 3, it's Patricia Knoll Drain. Have a good evening.